Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Business Agency of the State of Upper Austria, my colleagues from the different companies, welcome to the workshop Digital Payment. My name is Frederic Kadiari and I make the moderation today. And right now I want to share with you my presentation to start this workshop. And therefore, I will share some slides with you, and also you should see right now the slides in the presentation mode. Yeah. So again, welcome to this workshop digital payment. I want to start first of all to introduce what we as a business agency and in the management of the Software Park Hagenberg and the IT cluster do. I want to give you a better understanding about where we are. And this is a slide of the Software Park Hagenberg, which is right now existing. We have here the castle in front of, and I will tell you some details about that as well. And at the back side, you can see all the facilities, all the companies, and the education centers and the R&D centers, which are located in Hagenberg, in the Software Park Hagenberg. And all was started with the Professor Bruno Buchberger, which has started the spin-off of the university, Johannes Kepler University in Linz. And it is right now a history of 36 years in the Software Park Hagenberg. And this was in the year 1989. You can see here the landscape of Hagenberg, which was in the past. And this was the castle. Before we renovated the castle, it was a ruin. And this was the beginning of everything here in the Software Park Hagenberg. And we have here all the different topics in the digital transformation, and the smart synergy between research, education, and business is unique. Was unique and is still unique. And in this ecosystem, you can find for each topics in the digital transformation experts. And therefore, we have right now in the education around roughly 1,600 or 1,700 students and around 1,600 employees which work in our Software Park Hagenberg. Why we want to tell you that? We have here also for sure international companies which are located in other countries. So you are welcome. If you want to have more information about this location, then please feel free and contact me. I'm also responsible for one of the largest network organizations in the IT, with the IT cluster. And we have three slides today to give you a better understanding about this cluster. We have around 200 partner organizations, partner companies in our cluster, and most of them are small, middle-sized enterprises. And the main topics, the key topics which we provide services are in the business software, in the information security, and the information data or the industrial data. And what we do, we bring the key companies together, and we want to start cluster cooperation projects, which are regional, but we have also international founding projects, and we make also cross company public relation work, which means we connect our partner companies with the different industries, with the different branches. And the DNA of each cluster in the business agency of the state of Upper Austria is the experience exchange round. And in the topic IT security, we have this experience change rounds and bring also the different industries with our experts in our cluster together. And for sure, we have also sales and internationalization activities. For instance, for 2 weeks, we were together with 6 companies in Dubai, in the Emirates, and we connected Austrian companies in the topic IT security in this region. And here you can see the main topics and my team, which is responsible to make the events, make the experience rounds, and make also interviews with our experts in this regard. Yeah, I have 2 more slides. I just wanted to invite you, if you are on the 22 of October 2025 in Austria, more than welcome to join us in the Softwarepark Hagenbeck. We have the event which is called Zukunft Digitalisierung, Future Digitalization, and the main topics are for sure artificial intelligence, IT security, green IT, low code, no code, and we bring best practice companies together. We show best practice cases, and also we want to show off also the regional Upper Austria in the topic digital transformation. Today we speak also about the payment, and I have here also one recommendation for some of companies which are working in that regard. We have a matchmaking event with a big OEM, one of the 250 biggest companies in the world, FRWG Fang from China, and they will be on the 2nd of September in the Softwarepark Hagenbeck, and they want to get in contact with companies in the different fields like IT security, but here also payment, cloud, artificial intelligence, and R&D, and you are welcome to register yourself. This is our advisory board, and as Martin also mentioned before in our discussion, we have a deep contact. Also, his brother Roland Sprengsers is our advisory board speaker, and with this advisory board, we can say we have in the different fields the main key companies and contacts in our organization. And therefore, I want to say you, if you want to get in touch with us or you want to be updated, you have here the QR codes. We will share, I think, also the slides with you later. And yeah, this is from my side. Here my contact name again. And I want to stop right now here my presentation, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to hand over to Roland Poch. He is the managing director of WorldPay. He wants to start right now with his part on the digital payment, and the stage is yours, Roland. Thank you for that.
Yeah, in the beginning, I'm not the managing director. I'm not only, but I work in the hospitality industry and in the WorldPay Germany. But yeah, from my side, I have prepared for you a short video. Wait a moment, I want to share with you. Yeah. This is the global payment report. There has been 160 pages, and sure, I have 8 minutes now. It's really difficult to say anything about this now in really short summary. This is why I show you the video. But for me, really important in this case is WorldPay launched global payment reports 2025, the past, the present, and the future. If you take payments and you need to learn the latest trends driving the industry, it's really important. In this report would be digital wallet, for example. There would be account to account, pay now, pay later figures. and cryptocurrencies are also the changing, because there would be the we start with this report 2014, and we have really many references from the figures also in the history. What really important is, if you want to talk with clients, but also with other companies, about what would be the changes in the landscape. And also the types of digital payments grew just 3% in global in-person shopping value in 2014 to 38 in 2024, and increase online from 34% in 2014 to 66% in that time. And this is also inside in this report, and I think that would be really important to see also for your partners. What is my summary about this? The sweep to digital payments is the raging trend in the report, made more pronounced when looking with the lens at the last decade. The global payment report allows merchants to understand what payments they should be accepting in their sector, because there would be also for hospitality, retail, and also for other industries, to make sure that they have the right options for their customers. It is a one-stop shop, for example, to understand the payment trends. They are changing in 40 key markets across the world. We live in a digital world, but what does this really mean for merchants? Trying to stay ahead at the last needs, ever demanding the tech-savvy consumers. There would be no longer other options in this case. And I go really deep inside in this for one point. I think so that's really important for you. Something we are often asked by merchants is how distinguish between the digital wallet payment and the card-funded digital wallet payment. There is a really difference. For us, the digital wallet is the method, for example, if you are seeing a picture of a card, when you tape your phone to the terminal. Examples for this would be, for example, Apple Pay, Google Pay, but also PayPal, WeChat. However, one of these reasons that the cards remain as relevant as ever is that the report shows, because is there that anything innovation too? Jumping into wallets and the primary funding source across many markets. If you use directly from within digital wallets, we forecast cards will account for 56% of a global consumer payment value. And in 2030, roughly dollar, there would be 32.5 trillion in this case. And yeah, I think there are many figures now. And I want to go also to another payment method. There would be shoppers likes in Europe, pay now, pay later. And another key trend in this report would be how fintechs are driven innovation and forced others to innovate. It's true, in recent years, we have seen pay now, pay later crash the payment party and pump up the volume. In our first global payment report in 2015, we estimate the e-commerce transaction value of pay now, pay later to be mere $2.3 billion globally. But now we estimate it be the $342 billion, up to 50,000%. A hit with consumers who value the choice and the flexibility that this payment method brings. Many of our real merchants now consider come from pay now, pay later options to be an e-commerce checkout essentials. The biggest changes what we have seen over the past 10 years is the diversification of alternative and local payment methods. And consumer wants to more choice, control, and convenience their payments experience than ever and before, and that is what the payment methods given them. Thank you very much for listening. If you want to look into the report, you can go on our homepage and can go to the global payment report and can download. I think you can see all what I say now in a really short summary inside. I want to go to my industry where I work for WorldPay now. There would be, wait a moment. the restaurants, for example, there would be one trend: tap, scan, and eat. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening to me. I hope you will find many more figures in the report. Please download it, and because there would be more insights inside. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Roland, for the input here. I just saw the comment that somebody wasn't sure that you didn't go through the slides actually, but I think that was on purpose then. I wasn't sure. Okay, yeah. Very good. Then I would take over from you.
Yeah, wait a moment. I will give you the...
All right. And now let's dive into the topic of payments that we have here in the workshop. So Roland, thank you for setting the scenes. It was for me a bit difficult to follow the numbers that you crunched with us. So it really makes sense then to dive into the report because we missed somehow the pictures to the numbers that you said, but it absolutely made sense. I will try to summarize and give you some inputs about the technologies that actually are interesting for you. As we talk to B2B software companies, I think the goal of everybody is to produce the right products that the market needs. So therefore we need to understand the market, what are the effects, the elements, and where do we go basically. Then you can put your company and your services into the right spotlight basically, and also do the right strategies to serve markets and be successful. So in the end, what I would like to walk you through, it will be a bit, I think, more interactive then. So the first thing is the mindset with focus on European opportunities. I would really like to highlight this. Also, thanks to the B2B Software Days that you initiate such events. Basically, it's about exchange of knowledge and really get things going. The thing to structure myself into basically your minds a bit more. So I'm Martin, I have two hats on my head, a lot of payment things and a lot of technology things. In the end, I'm working, I tried to summarize it in these pictures. I'm working on this huge opportunity in the field of mobile wallets, mobile payments, and the field of communication. In this report, it was structured like mobile wallets and digital advertisement. But when you look at this, what is happening in Europe currently? I mean, what is happening globally, but in Europe especially, is we are merging two hyper markets. Payments get digitalized, it gets more commoditized, so there are more payments being done, more companies working in this industry, and a lot of software companies coming into this industry. The second thing is communication is being individualized. What does this mean? Back in the days, we all saw the same movie at the same time at the 1 or 2 TV channels. We had one newspaper in the area, that's it, that's all. When you jump to today, we have individualized communication on our smartphones. This means there's a huge opportunity to communicate and there's a huge opportunity to do business, and those two markets merge. I will try to give you there a bit more appetite on this one. So the first thing is to set the scene basically for our digital payments workshop. So I will try to highlight some innovation, strategy, and emerging trends. Take this away and then go through the Q&A and see where you guys are heading and what is interesting for you people. So to set the scene, the first thing, let's hang in there basically. And I tried to picture this right and frame it right. When you are in Europe, when you are a US or an Asian company, you want to do business in Europe, or you come from here and you want to do business here, we have regulatory frameworks in the payment industry. So this is not a huge difference to the US and Asian market or African markets, but they are sometimes complex, very structured, and they don't move very fast. This is not a criticism. This is important to understand when you want to do business in this market. When you don't move fast in regulatory things, it is super good to invest here, because when we at BlueSource or my companies, when we build products, we can take a look into the future and say, okay, in 5 years' time, this law is still existing and we know where the industry is going. One example is the MiCA regulation in terms of cryptocurrencies or crypto assets. So this is something where we see that Europe has a step taken ahead. we were not the first movers in the global markets, but with this regulation, we gave the markets a clear opportunity and guidance what will happen when you do business in Europe. So that's the first thing, and there are a couple of others like PSD2, PSD3. I will touch them lightly, but I don't want to do a law workshop now. The second element, when you are an owner of a software company or a business manager, sales manager, whatever it is, you need to think about the people you want to address and how they are currently feeling. And how are European companies currently feeling? They are somehow in between the two big market players, US and China. We don't have a lot of pressure currently from South America and Africa. So therefore, we have the option to use US tech, Asian techs, US hardware, not so much, but Asian hardware, yes. But the question is, and that's why I put you in brackets, what's our position in there? So when you do business in Europe currently, there you have a lot of opportunities as a software company to see that companies and large corporations are rethinking or structuring their strategy in terms of payments, in terms of software investments. And therefore, it's a really interesting time when you have a good proposition how to tackle the needs of European companies. And think about that. Currently, that's the setup of the last couple of decades. And now there needs to be also a European strategy how to build software or how to use foreign software. As we have this topic of resilience currently going through all the CFOs, when you talk to them, they all the time have a risk markup for certain markets when they buy software, services, and so on and so forth. And this risk markup, we can talk about it later if it's interesting, but that's something that you need to bear in mind when you produce software and you take a look at those brackets. The next thing is we currently need to take a look at how much capital do we have actually for infrastructure. So when you say you're a company from the new Europe, CE region, for example, and for you guys, instant payment, QR code payments, it's normal, or e-invoicing, and you want to do business in Austria, Germany, or other markets, for example, and you show them their product, you will learn that we have invested a lot of capital in market infrastructure a couple of decades ago, 1-2 decades ago, and now we do other projects like you see in Germany from the politicians. They have focus projects, but digitalization is also something where we say we need to invest into the infrastructure, but there we have also the issue how much budget is available inside of the companies and inside of the governments. So bear in mind, you need to have good and for the future structured solutions where you have also a business case with you to fit into this capital for infrastructure kind of way. And the last one is the market development in markets is really different. When you take a look at Austria, we are, in terms of payments, a very strong NFC market. So contactless payments is very strong here. We also have a strong cash market. So it's very interesting, of course, for companies who do digitalization of payments or new payment methods to come to markets like Germany, Austria, and so on, who have a high level of cash currently in the society. Because basically, there is a market that you can conquer. When you take a look at the Nordics, for example, there you have a low cash level currently in the society, around 6 to 10%. So basically, when you come there with a new technology, most likely you will have already market competitors in there, and it will be difficult to enter the market. So that's about the market development is really different in the different markets in Europe. And that's also not the same like in US or Asia. All right, then I would like to swing into what's next, because you're interested in the PIC trends and innovations. So what will we see in the next couple of quarters, years? That's basically the timeline that I have. So let's take a look quickly at the innovations that we want to tackle here. The first one is, I'm sorry, I don't know which type of knowledge and setup you currently have, or what is your background. So happy to discuss this afterwards. And the one element that really strongly comes into all markets are the mobile wallets. This photo pictures it pretty nice. So that's like a hybrid kind of thing, to have your common old wallet attached to your smartphone. Basically, that's the new normal. You use your smartphone, and in most countries, basically, people run around only with the smartphones. Dive deep into Austria. There you have one element. You have a strong digitalization of identity coming up from the government, from the states, from the banks, and private initiatives. Those are the three drivers currently. And in terms of mobile wallets, I go to the next slide. So a mobile wallet in the future, and that's the near future, so to say, we have on the right side things like biometric information that I mentioned, for example. So you will see more and more the use of authentication. Why? Because we have a lot of fraud coming up in terms of artificial intelligence. So you need to work against this basically and give humans an opportunity how to identify themselves as a physical person. This will end, I would suggest, when you send messages to people, there will be a kind of biometric fingerprint or biometric print to tell Frederick, who sits next to me, or Roland, this message is something that Martin personally has written and not my chatbot. And this is very important to understand. We will need to have this type of wallets with us all the time, because when you talk to your mom and you want to tell mom, this is not my personal AI assistant, this is me, Martin, and I want to send you a message, and it's a personalized message, you need to identify this, because all the other channels basically will be blown away by artificial messages and texts that will be generated by AI. So there will be filter systems. Then you have stuff like investments. It's not new, but this will a lot be commoditized in payments. Credit debit cards are already strongly digitalized in mobile wallets. What's new are, for example, medical records. So people are starting a lot to have this digitalize yourself, measure yourself, and so on. We see this for like 10, 20 years around, but now it's going into a different direction that the state and the agencies and also other companies start to enhance these medical records and give you really better treatments. And it's not about the data to watch you what you do. It's really about making services more efficient. Think about my first slide. We have a decade of huge cost pressure. So we need to think about how to make things more efficient. And that's the huge opportunity for software companies there. Also, the last one I go into is document storage in wallets, for example. There you will see we need to store documents safe. That's important. And banks, for example, are predefined basically to offer you a safe because they do it already for your bank account. You trust banks with your money, so why don't trust banks with your documents, for example, or insurances? But you need to have a simple access. You don't want to go bank A to get your life insurance, bank B because your car crashed, and then bank C because you need to have a, I don't know, something, a claim about your vacation. This needs to be in a kind of mobile wallet of the future. And this is, again, the near future where we see centralization. How does it look like? When I go back to payments, in Europe, currently, we have this division between, on the left side, optical payment schemes, QR code payments, driven a lot in terms of EV charging cases. On the right side, we have the standard kind of thing when you take a look at mobiles, which is the contactless payments. That we have one new thing in Europe that Apple had to break up their NFC component. So basically you can build your own wallet aside from Apple Pay. Interesting new business case, take a look at it. When I go further, that's a practical insight from ourselves. What did I do with Bluesource? We thought about, okay, guys, there will be a lot of wallets out there. So we built a mobile pocket, a hub connecting multiple wallets. So this is an opportunity when you want to enter the European market. That's a service that we, for example, do. We connect different wallets with different services so that, for example, banks and merchants don't need to have contract with 40, 50, 100 different wallets. Then second innovation that we will see, which is a game changer, is the soft POS. For you guys, what does this mean? This is not an ice cream on the bathing lake. So it's not soft ice, it's soft POS. POS is a POS system, meaning that it's the cashier when you go to a store, to Starbucks, and you buy your coffee. There's a cash register, and you will buy the coffee with either cash or your card or your mobile wallet and so on. this cash register is now going to transform a bit into POS solutions. So there on the left side, you see types of cash register. On the right side, you see a kind of hybrid solution that is driven by, for example, the EV charging stuff. There you have this direct payment regulation that people need to be able to pay with a credit or debit card across Europe, standardized to charge their cards. This is something that is new, that was entered in this year into the market. And the next step is basically to bring this POS things onto, for example, smartphones, so that everybody can pay with your credit debit card or your mobile wallet at a normal standardized mobile phone. And this is something where you see a change in the industry, and this is an opportunity also to the guys. For example, WorldPay has a lot of skin in the game in this payment infrastructure. So if you have things that have innovation there, talk to the people like Roland here. He has really a lot of knowledge and connections there. Then when I swing to the next trend that we see in payments is we see not on the street, but inside of companies, a strong upcoming trend of blockchain-based solutions. For me, currently in this format, it is difficult now to dive separately into blockchain solutions. I would like to give you simply why the reason. So let's do it in a kind of reporter style. I simply can observe why blockchain solutions are currently a hot topic and why you can engage with different players in the field. So the first element that we see is faster settlement. Think about it back in the days when you did a wire transfer with your bank payment. It took a couple of days. Now we are down to, let's say, in different markets, different times, but it's like 1 day or so. Then it depends between the banks, between the systems, how you do it. And then you have things like instant payment, for example, where you can do it below 10 seconds. So with blockchain solutions, this is something where the guys aim that you have really lightning fast payment transactions and a faster settlement, for example. So in the background, there's a lot of systems interacting, 3-party, 4-party systems. And this faster settlement can be done, for example, with blockchain-based solutions. Sometimes you aim for lower transaction costs. So when you remember back in the day, the remittance costs between continents were pretty high. With blockchain solutions, they will lower. Again, this will be a market shift between players. New players will rise, other players will reposition themselves. So this is something which is interesting. You will also have increased demand for security and fraud detection. And with blockchain solutions, there is an opportunity to have safe payments in place. And the one element that I personally love a lot, I'm a tech-savvy kind of person, as you see. So I love to see this program, you can program payments basically with smart contracts. When you do machine-to-machine payments, for example, you need things like blockchain, or at least it helps a lot. To not only have the pros, the cons, for example, are you have an issue sometimes with the scalability. So sometimes technology are not scalable enough for global use cases. The guys from Visa and MasterCard, they have a global network that shows that it is scalable. So this is new to blockchain, basically. We don't operate it in our daily business. Then you have the second element, which is a bit of regulatory uncertainty. To come back to my intro, Europe builds there a strong regulatory body to give you certainty how it works in Europe. And this regulatory uncertainty means you don't know how blockchain payments will be regulated in the future in the different markets. And the last element is something that we will see in the future. It's the energy usage. So we need to be aware it takes some kind of energy, and we need to think about how to solve it, how to make it efficient. Then one element is that I touched already is real-time payments, as said. So this time to do a payment is pretty short already. And when you take a look at this screen here, I took it obviously because there was an issue. So retail investors wanted to invest, or when you take a look at 230% plus, perhaps sell GameStop stocks, for example. But the infrastructure of the new players sometimes went down, or the regulatory bodies took them out of the market. And this is something where you see how the payment field evolves currently in the European market. It's amazing, it's beautiful, and you see the opportunities there. But you also see sometimes the pain where you say, oh, that's now a lot of customers in a short period of time that want to buy and sell stocks, for example, and transfer funds between different US dollars, euros, Scandinavian, like Swedish kronas, and so on and so forth. So this is, of course, a lot of demand of people on technology and on infrastructure. And that's huge. And with GameStop, it was a super good example to see where are the bottlenecks basically that we can work on as an industry, and also give our governments and give our nations good infrastructure, and there is a good business to be done there. And then to come to the closer end, one last innovation that I want to highlight here. Perhaps some of you guys watch the news, international news. We have seen the first robots from our Chinese colleagues running half marathons. Don't want to do a lot of advertisement. It's more about like, what do people do currently these days? So you try things out in technology all the time, but not very publicly. I mean, when we talk about the payment sector, you don't try things out publicly. You need to have regulatory sandboxes, testing environments, and then you see where we can go. But in this case, what is interesting is we will have a lot of companies and a lot of demand based on AI-driven fraud prevention. This means when you think about, again, from my speech, the start, the digitalization of payments is happening currently. So when you digitalize things, you of course also need to do fraud prevention in a different way, or in a digital kind of way. And you have an explosion in terms of payment transaction, how often it goes. So please read the report from Roland. He has, there you see the numbers between the uptakes in different industries. It's amazing how many transactions are being done, for example, or how the ticket size is, how much it changed. The ticket size is basically 5 euros for a basket or 15 euros for a basket, and so on and so forth. But this will be all supported by fraud prevention, and this fraud prevention needs to be AI driven, at least in the European market. First, we cannot scale humans so fast. Second, our computers cannot scale that fast. So we need to have machine intelligence to support us here. And we need to have different products in place from different continents. You cannot do fraud prevention only with one continent. You will have, as a European ecosystem, you need to have access to multiple suppliers, multiple systems, match them together, and build your own source of truth. That's important. And then, to close off, last tendency that you see in the European markets currently and in general are CBDCs. Doesn't need to be necessarily CBDCs. CBDCs are central bank digital currencies. I have here this beautiful picture of the euro in LED lights in front of the Frankfurt Bank. But there are multiple projects. I think in my mind it's around 160, 170 globally, where central banks or central communities or nations think about digitalizing their cash currencies. So this is a trend that you see in payments also in the European industry. And you see also private payment, things like, for example, the European Mobile Payment Association. That's the EMPSA for you guys, if you want to Google that. Those guys started with the nationwide QR code payments, are interconnecting it together. And then you need to think about how to use that. Then you have, from banking perspective, the guys from EPI. It's a European Payment Initiative. That's a bank-driven initiative to interconnect all European banks to build up a payment infrastructure. And then you have from the ECB, from the European Central Bank, for example, the Digital Euro Initiative that is also publicly readable. All right, guys. So how to connect, if you want to learn more about this topic, so I try to really structure it for you in a smart and simple kind of way, and to leave time for the Q&A. As said, my background is from Bluesource. It's a mobile app powerhouse that works for banks, OEMs, and merchants. So that's our turf, basically our home turf. currently 40 wallets enabled, 15 million end consumers, and so on and so forth. Just ping me if you want to know more about that. That's not why we are here today. The last one I would like to highlight, if you're interested in payment, connect with the guys, with the Payment Pioneers. That's really an awesome network in Europe where you get a lot of knowledge. You can connect to merchants, to banks, to PSPs, to how politicians, everybody is here. We have a payment festival coming up, I think, end of November. You see the URL here. So those are sources of truth, aside with Frederick, who has a cool connection in the IT cluster, and Roland I've mentioned with the reports. So my name is Martin. Thanks for that. Working a bit on advisory boards and managing partner for banking insurance at Losers. Then I would like to stop here and hand back to you, Frederick. Do we need to switch microphones, I assume? Yeah.
So you can hear me again. Yeah, first of all, thank you to Roland and Martin. I think Roland with a higher altitude, and also the report and some figures about the topic, and also Martin, which show us the future of the real time payment, and also the topic blockchain. And for sure, the topic payment is an important puzzle for the digital transformation and the different industries. Yeah, I have checked also the chat area. There is just one question from Thomas that he wants to have the contact details from Mr. Toch. Maybe you can also hand over this, Roland, to Thomas personally. Also, our host, the broadcasting is online.
Yeah, Frederick, I can just add one more thing. There is also
but because it is exactly 45 minutes, so it is on deadline.
I always deliver that.
Excellent.
Frederick, do you hear me?
Yeah, thank you also for Roland that you have shared your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
Cool. From my side, if there are no other topics inside the chat, I want to also to thank you, thanks the International B2B Software Days hosted in Vienna 2025 on behalf of the business agency of the state of Upper Austria. It was a pleasure that we can also organize one workshop. I want to thank also Roland Toch and Martin Sprengseis again for the details and the specific expertise in this regard. I wish all the people which are in this workshop good other workshops as well, other meetings, networks. I think this event was for sure 2 days, one physical day and also one online day. And therefore, I want to close right now here this workshop. And yeah, do you have any last words, Martin or Roland?
I must say thank you very much for this option for me now. And if there is any questions, please contact me. And also, please don't forget to download the WorldPay report. Thank you.
So thanks very much from my end. And I would love to then connect with you guys. I've shared the LinkedIn profiles of ourselves, and I hope that we dived into the topics in a good kind of way that you can take it away. All right. Thanks very much.
Excellent. From my side, thank you and wish you a good day and all the best from our side. Bye-bye.
Bye.